Welcome to the No Views News. This program was created on Tuesday, April 13th, at 3:25 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, by Zeno Reader. There are 661 headlines from 108 feeds we check to build this automated report. Welcome to No Views, daily automated podcast news. The headlines in this super unknown daily news summary do not imply fact-checking or endorsement of ideas. The first headlines are from the current most popular news site, Yahoo News, with 175 million estimated monthly unique visitors. Haley says she'll back Trump, stand down if he runs in 2024. Students at North Texas school disciplined for slave trade held over social media. Mistaking Asian woman as white, Asian man attacks her over hate crimes, CA cops say. This tricky creature isn't a snake, or worm, wildlife officials say. What is it? FL Supreme Court should slam Dilber for sexist, arrogant behavior unbecoming to a judge editorial. What the union defeated Amazon means for the labor movement. The world's 9 most expensive listings currently on the market. White House addresses disparity in vaccine distribution. Scandal-plagued Florida politician Joe Greenberg reportedly tried to leverage his relationship with Rep. Matt Gaetz to get a pardon from Trump. The judge in the Chauvin trial won't admit statements from Maurice Hall, the passenger in George Floyd's car. The next headlines are from the second most popular news website at this time, with 150 million unique monthly visitors, Google News. Wide receiver Julian Edelman announced his retirement, Patriots.com. Joe Greenberg tried to get pardon from Trump through Gaetz, report, Business Insider. Biden calls for peace and calm in wake of Daunte Wright shooting in Minnesota, NBC News. Can Ukraine deploy U.S.-made weapons against the Russians, Politico. Prince Harry quarantining at his and Meghan Markle's Frogmore cottage ahead of Prince Philip's funeral, report, Fox News. Former Chiefs assistant coach Britt Reed, son of Andy Reid, charged with felony DWI, USA Today. Indestructible light beam, special light waves created that can penetrate even opaque materials, see Tech Daily. The Walking Dead, Survivors, official launch trailer, IGN. Concept, Apple TV and HomePod would be a match made in tech heaven. Here's what a mashup could look like. 9 to 5 Mac. 1 dead following shooting at Austin East High School, 1 person detained, WVLT-TV. The following headlines are from the third most popular news website, with 110 million unique monthly visitors, The Huffington Post. Major League Sports postpone Minnesota games after black man is killed by police. Boris Johnson defends Prince Philip's racist remarks, world did not hold it against him. Carrie-Anne Moss says she was offered grandmother role one day after turning 40. Meghan McCain tries but fails to get John Boehner to attack Joe Biden. FBI boss with skilled predator who harassed 8 women, report. Prince Philip's daughter-in-law discusses his final moments. This year's Oscars will be like a movie starring Brad Pitt, Halle Berry and Zendaya. 3 jaw-dropping moments from the new documentary about WeWork. Biden acknowledges black community's pain and trauma after Daunte Wright's killing. Prince Andrew makes first public statements and stepping back. The next headlines are from the fourth most popular news website, with 95 million estimated unique monthly visitors, CNN. Farm animals, machinery blessed in special mass. 14 cats and kittens rescued after owner passes. Man dies when tree falls on his mobile home. Shop takes green approach to selling groceries. Kimball, puppy and abuse case, out of the hospital. Business gives frontline heroes a free wedding. Prayer vigil held Sunday for missing LSU student. Group helps rescue cat stuck in tree for 18 days. Couple of 44 years marries in the intensive care unit. Holocaust survivors' bracelet returned to family in St. Louis. The next headlines are from the fifth most popular news website at this time, with 70 million estimated unique monthly visitors, The New York Times. Shooting at a Tennessee high school leaves one dead and officer wounded. After and during world's longest restrictions, Britain begins to unlock. CDC director says Michigan should shut down to slow outbreak. Corporate leaders discuss how to address Georgia's voting laws. Those we've lost to the coronavirus. Takeaways from day 11 of the Chauvin trial, George Floyd's brother testifies. Why Prince Philip was elusive on screen. How FDR's heir is changing the country. Albany's toxic culture for women, from Bond girl talk to groping. Blaming Israel, Iran vows revenge for blackout at nuclear site. The following headlines are from the 6th most popular news website, with an estimated 65 million monthly unique visitors, Fox News. Ohio police investigating after deadly emergency room shooting. New York parent seeks okay to marry their own adult child. Scott Yenner to Tucker Carlson, people find more happiness in marriage, family life than individualism. Patriots Julian Edelman announces retirement, it's been the best 12 years of my life. Media hall monitor Brian Stelter downplays 60 Minutes DeSantis report missteps on CNN show. Daunte Wright's death reignites defund the police movement. Biden's dog major to undergo additional training to help adjust to White House life after biting people. McEnany reacts to deadly Minnesota police shooting, we always have to let the facts play out. Minnesota mayor says officer involved in deadly shooting should be fired, city manager pushes back. Met Phillies postponed after rainout miscue on Sunday. You are hearing today's top news headlines and more. Today is Tuesday, April 13th. The next headlines are from the 7th most popular news website, with 63 million estimated monthly unique visitors, CBS News. 7 p.m. curfews go into effect for Twin Cities metro area after Daunte Wright shooting death. Matt Del Negro on Showtime City on a Hill, Aldous Hodge carries himself with such gravitas. Holy St, I just shot him, chief believes officer meant to use taser in fatal shooting of Daunte Wright. Stimulus check update, is a fourth relief payment coming your way? Report, Sylvester Stallone joins Mar-a-Lago. Maryland woman wears wedding dress to get vaccinated. Watch the Derek Chauvin trial live. 2021 NFL Draft, Justin Hilliard working to prove he can play any linebacker spot, want to be as versatile as possible. The next headlines are from the 8th most popular news website, with an estimated 53 million monthly unique visitors, Mail Online, the Daily Mail. Multiple victims reported, including a police officer, after a shooting at a Knoxville high school. At last, it's the glorious 12th, thirsty drinkers rush to pubs in the snow at midnight. Terrifying moment, kidnappers attack victim and drag him into back van before speeding away. Elon Musk's girlfriend Grimes shows off beautiful alien scars newly inked across her back. Video of UFOs buzzing Navy warship is leaked. Henry Leeds watches the Prime Minister's tribute to Prince Philip. You'll never walk alone, Mom, senior royals will be at the Queen's side for public events. Topless toe-sucking and why Prince Philip thought Fergie was simply beyond the pale. Cricket's controversial 100 format set to scrap the term wickets in favor of outs. John Humphreys hits out as universities say correct spelling and grammar elite. The following headlines are from the 9th most popular news website, with an estimated 47 million monthly unique visitors, The Washington Post. This is the Washington Post World News Feed. Should the U.S. boycott the 2022 Winter Olympics in China? Iran vows revenge against Israel after mysterious blackout at nuclear site. How Prince Philip came to be worshipped on a remote South Pacific island. Roar of hope, silence of despair. Snow no barrier to Brits heading for newly reopened pubs after almost 100 days of COVID closure. Pentagon chief orders review of deadly 2020 attack in Kenya. Central American nations deploy troops to reduce migration. COVID-19 live updates. CDC director says Michigan should shut things down amid rise in cases, not bet on vaccines. All schools in Ontario to shut and go to online learning. Russia's FM in Egypt for talks on ties and Ethiopia's dam. The next headlines are from the 10th most popular news website, which has an estimated 42 million monthly unique visitors, The Guardian. This is The Guardian's U.S. news feed. Derek Chauvin trial. George Floyd was a person everybody loved, brother says. Police say officer who shot and killed unarmed Daunte Wright intended to fire taser. Coronavirus live. Ireland limits AstraZeneca vaccine to over 60s, surge testing deployed in London after South Africa variant found. Biden strikes international deal in bid to stop migrants reaching U.S. border. World's biggest rabbit stolen from home in Worcestershire. Harvey Weinstein indicted on sexual assault charges in California. Brighton left her room missed chances in stalemate with depleted Everton. The Rock for president? I'll run if the people want it, says Dwayne Johnson. Study reveals alarming trend in U.S. death rate since 2000. Former Chiefs coach recharged over crash that left girl with severe brain injuries. The following headlines are from the 12th most popular news website, with an estimated 36 million monthly unique visitors, ABC News. Female officer accidentally shot, killed driver during traffic stop, police chief. Shooting at Tennessee high school leaves one dead, police officer injured. Biden picks first woman to be Army secretary. Live, ABC News Live. UN chief urges wealth tax of those who profited during COVID. Ex-police chief gets 1 year in prison for hiring scandal. Skilled predator FBI boss harassed 8 women, watchdog finds. The next headlines are from the 13th most popular news website, with an estimated 35 million monthly unique visitors, the BBC News. Daunte Wright shooting by police accidental. Manhunt after execution shooting in Paris. Iran nuclear attack, mystery surrounds nuclear sabotage at Natanz. France moves to ban short-haul domestic flights. Will Smith's slavery film Emancipation pulls out of Georgia over voting laws. Nevskaya manufacturer, fire destroys historic factory in St. Petersburg. Minneapolis, Daunte Wright killing by police sparks unrest. Iran vows revenge for Israeli attack on Natanz nuclear site. Prince Philip, the Vanuatu tribes mourning the death of their god. Haridwar, crowd surging at Kumbh Mela as India overtakes Brazil in COVID cases. The following headlines are from the 14th most popular news website, with an estimated 34 million monthly unique visitors, USA Today. The Day in Pictures. George Floyd's brother shed tears too on witness stand. 1 dead, officer injured in high school shooting in Knoxville, Tennessee. Minnesota police say Daunte Wright shooting was due to accidental discharge. Derek Chauvin trial live, George Floyd's brother testifies, judge won't sequester jury amid Brooklyn Center protests, Minneapolis curfew. This is murder, outrage builds over death of Daunte Wright in traffic stop, police chief says officer intended to use taser. Broadway vaccination site opens for NYC show staff. Derek Chauvin trial, a role model, a mama's boy, a football player, younger brother recalls George Floyd for jurors. How guns are smuggled from state to state on the iron pipeline. Extradition hearing to send Weinstein to LA delayed. The next headlines are from the 15th most popular news website, with an estimated 35.5 million monthly unique visitors, the LA Times. Video shows man with a fake gun outside Los Angeles Police Department Olympic Station before officer shoots him. Boy and 2 others are killed in South LA when car slams into bank building. September trial date set in Luz del Mundo sex abuse case. Magic Mountain COVID-19 vaccine site is closing. Knott's Berry Farm announces reopening dates. Are herd immunity and the California coronavirus variant preventing a West Coast spring surge? Harvey Weinstein indicted on sex assault charges in Los Angeles, extradition from NY delayed. LA Unified proposes a 2-week school year extension for student learning loss, trauma. Vaccine appointments open up in Chinatown and East LA as city expands eligibility. LA, other areas giving everyone 16 and up COVID-19 vaccine. What you need to know. We hope you are enjoying this news podcast. Today is Tuesday, April 13th, 2021. You just heard from the top 15 most popular news websites in the world. More, from other news sources, is up next. Next, Reddit World News. Reddit is a user collective which claims over 430 million active users per month, and these are the top voted stories today. School shooting in Tennessee, multiple shot, including officer. Scientists foresee would unleash unimaginable amounts of water as ice shelves collapse. A joint investigation by 60 Minutes and The Age has literally dug up photos of Australian soldiers allegedly committing heinous war crimes in Afghanistan. Hundreds of photos on several USB sticks were buried in a child's lunchbox by Australia's most decorated former SAS soldier. Russia restricts flights to Turkey for 1.5 months starting April 15th. Ottawa cancels 29 military export permits for Turkey after finding Canadian-made gear diverted to Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. U.S. and China deploy aircraft carriers in South China Sea as tensions simmer. Maharashtra police busts factory stuffing mattresses with used face masks. WHO says COVID pandemic is growing exponentially at more than 4.4 million new cases a week. Blinken, NATO chief discuss immediate need for Russia to cease aggressive military buildup. Taiwan reports largest incursion yet by Chinese Air Force. Biden admin secures agreements with Mexico, Honduras and Guatemala to secure borders, official says. Ukraine's president heads to the trenches as Russia masses its troops. Paris on lockdown after deadly hospital shooting as gunman flees on motorbike. Extremely dangerous radioactive material stolen in Mexico truck hijacking. The next headlines are from Forbes. Howard Webb explains why Major League Soccer does VAR differently. GameStop reportedly looking for a new CEO. Ted Nugent mentions 18 covets, that's not how COVID-19 got its name. eBay is helping Gen Y and Gen Z get their investment kicks. To balance the global pressure from Russia and China, the West must help Uzbekistan. BTS have now charted songs on the Hot 100 in 3 languages. More of the best pitches of 2020, the Rays' Ryan Yarbrough's changeup. Remembering Solyndra, how many $570 in green energy failures are hidden inside Biden's instructor proposal? BTS at the Hot 100 in Japanese for the first time with film out. NBA postpones Nets Timberwolves game in wake of fatal police shooting in Minnesota. The next headlines are from Nature.com. COVID research updates. Quick tests show value for stopping COVID spread. Addendum. Active superelasticity in 3-dimensional epithelia of controlled shape. Daily briefing. Vaccine passports could worsen inequality. Toilets. What will it take to fix them? Thousands protest against funding cuts to SDG work. Quantum computing's reproducibility crisis, major ANA fermions. Social and political justice hit by UK aid cuts. A no-brainer decision to become a COVID-19 vaccine center volunteer. Multi-level proteomics reveals host perturbations by SARS-CoV-2 and SARS-CoV. Author correction, high-depth African genomes inform human migration and health. The World Population Update, Currently, we are increasing by over 220,000 people a day, expecting to reach 8 billion in 2023. At the time this report was generated, the population was estimated to be 7,698,344,426 humans. Worldometers.info says there are 195 countries at this time, and, of those, the top 10 with the largest populations are, in order, China, India, the United States, Indonesia, Pakistan, Brazil, Nigeria, Bangladesh, Russia, and then Mexico. The next headlines are from Variety. Leslie Odom Jr. performs original song Contender Speak Now at BAFTA's exclusive. TV ratings, The Nevers delivers best ever debut for original series on HBO Max. Dreamgirls reunion highlights RW Quarantunes benefit raising $1.3 million for Broadway Cares. DMX's family issues statement regarding master recordings, memorial service. Kate Blanchett teams with Todd Field on Focus features Tar. NBC orders 2 female-led drama pilots, including one produced by Julie Plec. Theater unions denounce workplace abuse in wake of Scott Rudin allegations. New York Summer Stage announces return to in-person concerts this summer. Showtime orders public domain anthology series Cinema Toast from Jeff Buena, Duplass Brothers. Media bears responsibility for reinforcing Asian American stereotypes, guest column. The following headlines are from NPR, National Public Radio. Poll finds Republicans particularly opposed to vaccine passport messaging. The advantage of our smallness, Bhutan vaccinates 93% of adults in under 2 weeks. Studies confirm racial, ethnic disparities in COVID-19 hospitalizations and visits. Watch, George Floyd's brother testifies in Derek Chauvin trial. Germany is expected to centralize its COVID-19 response. Some fear it may be too late. Police say accidental discharge of gun led to Daunte Wright's death. Would you use an app to verify your vaccine status? The idea is here to stay. Chauvin trial judge denies request for jury sequestration after police shooting. Floyd's death absolutely preventable, doctor says in Chauvin trial. Jurors in Chauvin trial have security escort, are partially sequestered. The following headlines are from The Week. Retired Navy Admiral says U.S. looks either complicit or ignorant in Iran nuclear facility blackout. Harvey Weinstein indicted on 11 sexual assault counts in California. Nikki Haley, I would not run in 2024 if Trump does. The Daily Gossip, Prince Harry pays tribute to the master of the barbecue, Britney Spears remains inscrutable, and more. Biden calls for peace and calm in wake of Daunte Wright police shooting. Officer who fatally shot Daunte Wright intended to use taser, police chief says. Taliban backs out of Afghan peace conference in Istanbul. Prince Harry pays tribute to grandfather Prince Philip, master of the barbecue and legend of banter. Michigan's pleas for extra vaccines will likely go unanswered. Will Smith film pulls out of Georgia over regressive voting law. The following headlines are from the Texas Observer. Young Moon's strange novels cross continents. The next headlines are from Universe Today. Gaia finds 12 examples of Einstein crosses, galaxies being gravitationally lensed so we see them repeated 4 times. Brown dwarfs can spin so fast they almost tear themselves apart. OSIRIS-REx did one last close flyby of asteroid Bennu. It's almost time to come home. These are the news headlines for today, Tuesday, April 13th. This podcast is produced only in English at this time. As of 2020, the Ethnologue reference lists 7,117 different human languages, with English being the 3rd most common, after Mandarin Chinese and Spanish. The following headlines are from earthsky.org. Raindrop sizes similar on Earth and alien worlds. Great chance to spot a very young moon April 12th. Look for the legendary green flash. The next news is from Politico. Biden's first 100 days. How to stop a pandemic before it starts, illustrated. George Floyd's brother sheds tears too on the stand. Opinion: Sebastian Gorka's new show proves that propaganda makes lousy TV. Judge releases Trump appointee charged in Capitol riot. Biden to nominate Wormuth to be first female Army Secretary. Iran, U.S. signal nuclear talks will resume despite alleged Israeli attack. Blinken names State Department's Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer. DeSantis tears too into YouTube, claiming censorship. Biden offers measured response after viewing graphic police footage of Daunte Wright's death. The next headlines are from the Sydney Morning Herald in Australia. Biden is about to burst big technician's bubble. It haunts me to this day. Udita Middle almost lost her daughter a year before Aishwarya's death. Best of Cartoons, April 13, 2021. Teens injured as brawl erupts on final night of Sydney Royal Easter Show. Like running an engine at high revs, why are WA's hospitals in crisis and how did we get to this point? ASX set to rise despite choppy Wall Street session. Police report multiple victims in Tennessee school shooting. Stolen Roman statue found in Belgian shop by off-duty Italian art police. China tightens its grip as it orders overhaul of Jack Ma's Ant Group. Manchester United in talks to buy Central Coast Mariners, and move them. The next headlines are from MarketWatch. Facebook opposes adding civil rights expert to its board. Bond report, U.S. government bond yield tick higher Monday after auctions. U.S. budget deficit soars to $660 billion in March after stimulus checks are sent out. An Israeli study says a COVID-19 variant can still infect vaccinated people. Here's what Dr. Fauci says the research means. In one chart, here's how much it costs to be a fan of your favorite NFL team. Market Extra, can a pent-up economy outweigh higher taxes for stock market investors? Nvidia steps up competition with Intel and AMD with first data center CPU, based on ARM. Newswatch, should you buy Coinbase? The valuation is ridiculous, based on this math. Market Snapshot, Dow, S&P 500 snaps 3-session win streak as investors focus on earnings week, banks and risk-taking. Personal Finance Daily, it's time to initiate a money challenge you've been avoiding. Join us for week 2 of our money challenge. Next, the top stories about patents and inventions. Case, patents ownership, first seer, Bloomberg Law. Pandemic economic stimulus, legislative and regulatory developments as of April 9, 2021, intellectual property, United States, Mondac News alerts. Cable maker looks to settle 10 fiber optic patent claim, Law 360. Exploring a new approach to innovation in the space sector, aerospace manufacturing. The story of how Beagle inspired Nano Sniffer, an explosives detector with a difference, DailyWorld.com. Overview of patent law in Nigeria, Lexology. Australian vanadium lodges vanadium processing circuit patent application, Proactive Investors Australia. The next headlines are from Quartz. Water officials are begging Las Vegas to outlaw ornamental grass. All the big summer music festivals still on for 2021. How to fight the myth of vaccine scarcity. Could climate-conscious shoppers kill fast fashion? In his new posthumous album, Prince calls the U.S. land of the free, home of the slave. Coinbase CEO got paid 3 times Goldman CEO in 2020, and other pre-IPO surprises. Zhuangyi, the business tactic that led to Alibaba's $2.8 billion antitrust fine. India approves the Russian vaccine in the midst of a virulent second COVID-19 wave. Voting legislation, healthy buildings, skinny jeans. Texas has a cautionary tale for Biden's infrastructure plan. The following headlines are from TechDirt. FBI scores itself another lawsuit for using the no-fly list to punish a Lebanese man for not becoming an informant. Oh look, here's some more culture being cancelled, now thanks to the Second Circuit. Michigan AG using former Trump lawyer Sidney Powell's "no reasonable person would believe me" statements to seek sanctions against her. Daily Deal, the Learn Python and Django developer bundle. Ajit Pai should not still have his government Twitter account. Senators warn feebly regulated ad data is being exploited by governments worldwide. We are now about 1/3 of the way through this daily news headlines podcast, a free service. Here, next, are the top trending keywords in Google web searches for today, a different window on world events. Julian Edelman, Joseph Saravo, Trevor Lawrence, Jeff Carter, Brenda Song, Conor McGregor, Amber Alert, Epic, Prince, Nuance. The next headlines are from RT, the first Russian news station in English. Pentagon creates microchip that will detect COVID-19 under your skin. No one's going to punish me, UFC novice Pimplet insists he doesn't care about death threats from Georgians over social media. May there be peace. Watch Yuri Gagarin's iconic speech on first anniversary of his space flight, now in color. Ireland's vaccine advisory body recommends halting use of AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine in under 60s over blood clot risk. Azerbaijan's president poses with helmets taken from fallen Armenian soldiers at opening of museum to bloody Nagorno-Karabakh war. First Ronaldo, now this, Zlatan targeted over restaurant meal snaps as he hits headlines again after red for referee row, video. Shooting at Tennessee high school, one person killed, officer injured. Iran weighs counter-sanctions, stops cooperation with EU in key areas after Brussels blacklists officials over protest crackdown. COVID-19 vaccine still does not mean you can eat and drink indoors, Fauci says, prompting Rand Paul to call him a petty tyrant. I'm so upset, Paige SP ironic stunned by racism accusations as golf babe cops cancel culture for admiring Masters champ Matsuyama. The next headlines are from Zero Hedge. Hordes of demoralized cops are quitting their jobs, and America's streets are less safe as a result. What are the next steps for U.S. fiscal policy? A Goldman Q&A. No voter ID laws because millions don't have an ID? Let's buy them one. Extremely dangerous radioactive material stolen in violent truck robbery. Janet Yellen is serious, and it's really sad. Steve Cohen dumps Manhattan penthouse at stunning 74% discount. The helicopter parent fed and the fatal crash of Risk. Bullard Aviation sinks stocks after S&P tops year-end analyst estimates. Daily Briefing, a chart-filled look at banks, inflation, and Treasury volatility. Tracking the U.S. labor market recovery. The following headlines are from Al Jazeera, Middle East News. Harvey Weinstein indicted in California on sexual assault charges. U.S. oil output climbs toward level not seen since pandemic start. One dead, officer wounded in shooting at Tennessee high school. Mo's wealth soars $2.3 billion after China imposes milder Alibaba fine. Almost heaven, West Virginia entices nature-loving remote workers. Canada cancels export permits for drone technology to Turkey. Israel arrests Hamas members in West Bank raids. U.S. budget deficit this year nearly doubles previous record. Philippines, Duterte reappears in public after ill health rumors. Chauvin judge refuses jury sequester as Minneapolis faces unrest. The next headlines are from Breitbart. Multiple gunshot victims after shooting a Tennessee high school. Egypt refuses to release Suez Canal blocking ship without compensation. Financial corruption plagues House Democrats as Republicans find success in push to ditch corporations. Vice removes article featuring photos of genocide victims alter to add smiles. GOP memo, Joe Biden has opened borders to help donors and CEOs. Black conservative pastors expose 5 lies by Joe Biden, Stacey Abrams about Georgia election bill. Tom Cotton introduces bill to make states that send cash to illegal aliens ineligible for federal funds. Red Sox Twins game postponed following fatal police shooting. 14-year-old Florida boy pulls trapped child out of overturned car in canal. NC lawmakers move to protect youth from transgender drugs, surgeries. The next headlines are from UPI News. Fellow customers purchase leads Missouri man to $100,000 lottery prize. Look, pieces of the Mackinac Bridge up for auction in Michigan. Watch, dressed up dummies race down ski slope at Oregon resort. Watch, Pro Bowler becomes first to convert a 7-10 split on TV since 1991. Watch, Idaho man stacks 34 bars of wet soap for Guinness World Record. Watch, small dogs chase trespassing bear out of California home. Watch, astronaut breaks Guinness record for longest time between spacewalks. Cat rescued after 18 days stuck in Arkansas tree. The following headlines are from goodnewsnetwork.org. New brain cancer immunotherapy shows promise in human trial. Most patients saw no tumor growth for 3 years. Nepal's endangered rhino population has grown by 16%. Nearly retired couple adopts 7 siblings who just lost their parents. If not us, then who? Despite Zoom services, 82-year-old dresses like it's Easter Sunday every week for church. Look. Mountains of garbage in Russia are being turned into fashionable accessories. You're tuned to No Views, daily automated podcast news. This is a report for Tuesday, April 13th. Thank you for listening. The next headlines are from Reddit Offbeat News. World's biggest rabbit stolen from home in Worcestershire. North Carolina families united by shared slave history connect, RAL.com. Universities insist it's elitist to mark down bad spelling. BBC News, Prince Philip, the Vanuatu tribes mourning the death of their god. 10 tourists from Israel, US, Mexico and Australia stuck in India were caught strolling in Tapovan area against lockdown and social distancing rules due to coronavirus. Each one of them had to write 500 times "I did not follow the rules of the lockdown, I am sorry" as punishment. Green Thumb receives incentives to build New York cannabis facility at former federal prison. Woman gets pregnant while already pregnant. Colorado looks to legalize human composting. Yes, your dead body could become garden soil. The next headlines are from a site called The Next Web. Welcome to TNW's glorious new website, faster, smarter, and even better looking. Raleigh Lumi Review, a joyful way to learn the piano, and so much more. 10 tech accessories, monitors, power banks, projectors, on sale you will end up using daily. Google and Apple block update to England's contact tracing app over privacy violation. Get highly rated private internet access VPN on sale today for 72% off. What selling stickers when I was 9 taught me about entrepreneurship. Prince Philip's final ride will be in a hybrid electric Land Rover. A handy list of ifs that won't destroy your bank balance. Did we just discover new physics? These theoretical physicists don't think so. Google will give you a heads up when you're walking on your phone, and Darwin weeps. The following headlines are from Science Daily. Road salt and other human sources are threatening world's freshwater supplies. Spanking may affect the brain development of a child. Unusual fossil reveals last meal of prehistoric pollinator. A multidimensional view of the coronavirus. Feces core records 4,300 years of bad diet and environment. Early cannabis use linked to heart disease. Biologists investigate effects of bisphenols on nerve cells. Pain receptors linked to the generation of energy-burning brown fat cells. Major risk of injury for recreational runners. Lighting the way to folding next-level origami. The next headlines are from Information Week. How Google Clouds might help the FinOps Foundation evolve. What cloud attacks have taught us about hidden compliance costs. This is a reading of news headlines. This broadcast was created on Tuesday, April 13th from over 100 sources, to give you a bigger picture of the news. The next headlines are from the Salt Lake Tribune. White House gives Utah best grade in its infrastructure report, but it's far below an A. Paul Krugman, Biden, Yellen and the War on Leprechauns. Utah State Treasurer David Damshin leaves to run housing nonprofit. RSL legend Kyle Beckerman named Utah Valley men's soccer coach. Bagley cartoon, there's money in those monuments. Deer Valley Resort to embark on major expansion of its snow park lodge. Man asked to wear face mask threatens to shut up Salt Lake City store. Margaret Mitchell, veterans like me need a piece of protected national monuments. Gordon Munson, America, like Japan, should embrace Hideki Matsuyama as Masters champion, remembering golf belongs to all. Salt Lake City police are giving officers shotguns that shoot beanbags. The next headlines are from Slashdot, tech news for nerds. The Google Shopping app is shutting down. Intel's Mobileye will launch a fully driverless delivery service in 2023. The FSF doubles down on restoring RMS after his non-apology apology. Huawei to invest $1 billion on car tech it says surpasses Tesla. FCC wants you to test your internet speeds with its new app. Logitech Harmony remote controls officially discontinued. NHS COVID-19 app update blocked for breaking Apple and Google's rules. Nvidia to make CPUs, going after Intel. Epic set to lose at least $330 million in efforts to compete with Steam. New electrical flaw grounds more than 6,737 Maxes, adding to Boeing's woes. The next headlines are from Fox St. Louis. Suspect arraigned in shooting at Missouri convenience store. Lots of position shifts in St. Louis Cardinals series opening lineup against Nationals. Prosecutors drop murder charges against 2 men in St. Louis County. Crash on I-44 near downtown St. Louis has traffic backed up for miles. St. Louis County changes vaccination process to make it easier and faster. High Mississippi River closes access to islands near St. Louis. Budweiser Clydesdale's Missouri breeding farm to reopen for tours. 1 dead, officer injured in shooting at Knoxville, TN High School. COVID hospitalizations down dramatically across Missouri. St. Louis Blues and Minnesota Wild game postponed after tragic shooting. These are the current headlines from the world's most interesting news websites. Thank you for listening. The next headlines are from Fox San Diego. Attorney says influx of migrant children will bottleneck U.S. court system. Third COVID-19 wave in Baja California taking shape. Man allegedly hit by police projectiles in May protest Sioux City, County. 1 dead, 1 detained in Knoxville school shooting. Border Patrol captures top target in San Diego smuggling operations. Senator Padilla, recurring direct payments may be necessary. Driver slow door stopped before crash killed 13 migrants. Dante Wright shooting, Minnesota officer meant to draw taser, not handgun in traffic stop, police say. Bad Bunny to perform in San Diego early next year. 50K students return to classrooms after a year of distance learning. The next headlines are from spooknews.com. Today's headlines and commentary. Biden names 2 ex-NSA officials for senior cyber positions. Iran terms Israeli cyber attack on nuke facility as nuclear terrorism. Tim Cook says Apple is not against digital advertising. Camera pens and other spy gadgets prove popular at Las Vegas store. Skyfall cast, Daniel Craig, Judi Dench and others who play pivotal roles. The busy behind-the-scenes preparations for Philip's funeral. Pete Hoekstra, no spying on Americans, here's how we stop Biden admin from misusing intelligence community. Hip-hop loves Cash App, and that might be why Jack Dorsey book title. How will James Bond movie's plot be twisted with release of No Time to Die? Find out. The next headlines are from SupChina, top news about China. Alibaba fined $2.8 billion in landmark antitrust case. Are Beijingers worried about climate change? Documenting China's U.S. Capitol-inspired buildings. Better dead than red, Rose Namajunas says ahead of Zhang Weili fight at UFC 261. This is the No Views, daily automated podcast news. Today, in the GMT time zone, is Tuesday, April 13, 2021. Now, more headlines. The next headlines are from KRON4 San Francisco. Researchers develop under-the-skin sensor that detects COVID infection. Macaulay Culkin, Brenda Song announce birth of first child together. One dead, officer wounded in Tennessee school shooting. How long the Oakland Coliseum mass vaccination site will be open. Will Smith and Antoine Fuqua film pulled from Georgia over voting restrictions. American Idol judge Luke Bryan tests positive for COVID before a first live show. Another Bay Area county expands vaccine eligibility to 16 plus. Rob Black's winners and losers, WrestleMania 37 streams on Peacock. Crone 4 morning buzz, Matsuyama wins the Masters. The next headlines are from the Daily Herald. Lake County's largest COVID-19 vaccination site coming to Round Lake Beach next week. Mount Prospect goes back to the drawing board for Block 56 redevelopment. Jim O'Donnell, Eleni links to young Masters ace Zalatoris run orange, blue and true. Patriots terminate contract of Edelman after failed physical. Authorities, one person dead, officer wounded in shooting confrontation at a Tennessee high school. No cap crunch for Capitals, who land Manta at deadline. DuPage County Fair cancels July dates. COVID-19 update, 64,772 more shots, another 18 dead, 2,433 new cases. Eyes to the Skies in Lyle cancelled for second year in a row. The following headlines are from Seattle PI. 4 people, including 2-year-old shot in Seattle's Central District. The next alerts are from the Global Disaster Alerting and Coordination System, a cooperative effort from disaster managers worldwide. Drought is ongoing in Malawi, Mozambique. Drought is ongoing in Bolivia, Brazil. Drought is ongoing in Madagascar. Drought is ongoing in Mexico. Drought is ongoing in Angola, Congo, DRC, Namibia, Zambia. Drought is ongoing in Iraq, Syria, Turkey. Drought is ongoing in Afghanistan, China, Iran, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Pakistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan. Volcanic eruption is ongoing for Soufriere St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You are hearing the No Views, daily automated podcast news. Today is Tuesday, April 13th in the Greenwich Mean Time time zone. Headlines here were found today in news feeds from around the world, but we do focus on the USA, one of the world's current 195 countries. Now, more news. The next headlines are from ABC Houston. Tennessee school shooting, 1 person dead, officer hurt and 1 person detained at high school in Knoxville. Derek Chauvin trial live coverage, George Floyd's brother sheds tears 2 on the stand. Bel Air HS makes HISD history with 9 valedictorians. Daunte Wright shooting, Minnesota police chief says officer meant to draw taser, not gun in fatal Brooklyn Center shooting. Burglar walked out with 4 guns, wallet and Rolex watch from Atascocita home, deputies say. Quarantines marks first anniversary by lighting up Broadway Theater in Times Square. Since January, 142 Houstonians tested positive for COVID 14 days after being fully vaccinated. Data shows since January, 142 Houstonians tested positive for COVID 14 days after being fully vaccinated. Data shows. Top chef LM2 David Phu returns to his Vietnamese roots with signature dish. Video shows dog stuck in fence of 3rd floor balcony in 100-degree weather. The following headlines are from China Post, top news about China, Taiwan and the world. Carter's coming, Penguins acquire veteran forward from Kings. The latest, hurricanes, Ducks swap defenseman. Whitmer outlines priorities for spending federal virus aid. Kansas college paying staff $250 to get COVID-19 vaccines. Explainer, prosecution explores Floyd's spark of life. Police, officer wounded, 1 dead in Tennessee school shooting. Proposal would let recall target, see who signed petition. Hernandez second Rangers reliever to have Tommy John surgery. Robert Durst murder trial resumes May 17 after virus delay. The following headlines are from The Gothamist. Citing her own family story, Catherine Garcia calls for changes to foster system. Extra extra, who will you be after the pandemic? Map, here's where the COVID variants are spreading most in NYC. MTA employee claims he was suspended, forced into rehab for using legal medical marijuana. Coronavirus statistics, tracking the epidemic in New York. This is a criminalization of poverty, Stringer and others denounce Yang's remarks on unlicensed street vendors. Nostalgic favorite Dippin' Dots opens first ever NYC shop. 51,000 more NYC public school students opt in for in-person learning. Early edition, millennials, now turning 40, are no longer killing home ownership. Despite working in hotspots, NY correctional officers fall behind with COVID vaccines. We hope you are enjoying this podcast. If you have a suggestion for a new RSS feed we should add, please leave it in a comment on our YouTube page. The next headlines are from globalissues.org. Barilla Foundation brings health and climate together in new double pyramid. COVID complicates efforts to shut down drug traffickers, boost the development. Reasonable grounds to believe Syrian military helicopter deployed chemical weapon, OPCW. COVID long way from over as cases and deaths surge, WHO. Great Lakes region on the right track to tackling political and other challenges. UK Armed Forces bill would limit war crimes accountability, UN rights chief. Guterres calls for paradigm shift to recover from COVID setbacks. Farmers in Brazil benefit as biogas replaces firewood. The UN Security Council and the US-China Cold War. First ever human space flight signaled new era for humanity. The next headlines are from blacklistednews.com. Connecting the DHS to the airline industry. People on volcano-stricken island told they won't be rescued if they haven't had the COVID vaccine. Houthi rebels strike Aramco oil facilities with drones and missiles. Fatal police shooting in traffic stop outside Minneapolis sparks protests, looting. Video, DARPA is working on COVID vaccine, implantable microchip to detect virus. That's not Orwellian, this is Orwellian, Aussies mulling ID for access to Facebook, Twitter, Tinder. From American dream to American nightmare. The following headlines are from Snopes, a fact-checking service. Did Sylvester Stallone join Trump's Mar-a-Lago club? Did RFK Jr. win a Supreme Court case against mandatory vaccination? Was Twins Red Sox game postponed due to potential riot over Daunte Wright's killing? Was National Guard deployed in Minneapolis after police shooting of Daunte Wright? Soviet cosmonaut made pioneering space flight 60 years ago. Should hotel guests always put coins in the sink? Skilled predator FBI boss harassed 8 women, watchdog finds. Was a double rainbow spotted over U.S. Capitol? Is this company policy's sign real? We are now about 2/3 of the way through today's news headlines. When everything is working, this feed will auto-update 3 times per day. Join us daily to stay informed. The next headlines are from the Daily Beast. The talk hosts fire back at Sharon Osbourne's claim she was set up. Redfield joins Big Ass fans, promoter of controversial COVID-killing technology. George Floyd's brother breaks down on the stand, he was the leader in our house. Weinstein defense claims he's almost technically blind in extradition fight. Did Prince Andrew really just use Prince Philip's death to sneak back on TV? Elite Syrian regime unit dumped chlorine on rebel-held city in 2018 attack. John Boehner shuts down Meghan McCain's Biden critique, he's a good guy. Prince Harry and Prince William's feud rumbles on as they issue dueling statements on Philip's death. These sustainable linen sheets are both cool and comfortable. Brits get morning drunk in the snow to celebrate grand reopening. The next headlines are from the New York Post. Eagles treated Doug Peterson like a baby amid culture of paranoia. Listen to episode 42 of Amazon But True, is Luis Rojas in over his head, feet, Dwight Gooden. Cuomo at fault for elderly, minorities lagging behind in COVID vaccinations. Hurting Aaron Hicks sitting out Yankees game due to Daunte Wright shooting. Ana de Armas steps out with buff mystery man in Los Angeles. The following headlines are from astronomy.com. Let's go, remembering Yuri Gagarin's first space flight, 60 years later. 40 years since the first space shuttle mission, STS-1. You're tuned to the No Views, daily automated podcast news. If you are hearing this, you found something super unknown. Congratulations. Now back to the headlines. The next science headlines are from CBS News. Dr. Ashish Jha discusses concerning COVID surges in Michigan, vaccines. Nancy DC studying kids hit with long-lasting fatigue, lethargy after COVID diagnosis. How a shocking environmental disaster was uncovered after 70 years. Western U.S. may be entering worst drought in modern history. COVID vaccine passports could be Pandora's box for privacy. Many Republican men are hesitant to get COVID vaccine. Melinda Gates on COVID-19 responds and conspiracy theories. Some wealthy Americans accused of skipping vaccine line. Overwhelmed hospitals hire travel nurses to help with shortages. Why there's a shortage of Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine shortage. The next headlines are from the New York Daily News. Will Smith pulls film production from Georgia to protest voting restrictions. Andrew Yang says he regrets tweet on street vendors, it wasn't the right medium. NYC mayoral candidate Catherine Garcia gets personal, vows to fight systemic racism in foster care system. One dead, police officer hospitalized in shooting at Tennessee high school. New York to send COVID vaccines directly to colleges and universities, Cuomo. Illinois police investigating video of black football player being harassed by teammates, forced to sit in banana peels. Cindy McCain eyed for Plum ambassador gig in Biden administration. Embattled Cuomo not ready to endorse in race for mayor. Today is the day. Schumer, AOC tout to launch a hotline to help New Yorkers cover COVID funeral costs. CDC chief calls on Michigan to shut things down to stop COVID-19 surge. The following headlines are from military.com. For the first time, a woman has been nominated to lead the army. Watch, Charles Coolidge, who charged at German tanks with a bazooka and grenades, gets Medal of Honor in vintage footage. Gone in 65 seconds, pilot error led to $6 million loss in military drone crash. I'm very proud of him, Sergeant Major of the Army reacts to Black Lieutenant's traffic stop. Lawmakers are worried COVID-19 did long-term damage to military training. After war zone scandals, special operators are curbing deployments and investing in ethics training. U.S. Philippine forces stage scale-down drills amid pandemic. Sleep disorders are skyrocketing among U.S. military personnel, study finds. The next headlines are from the Chicago Tribune. Minnesota officer who fatally shot black man intended to fire a taser, not a handgun, governor institutes dusk to dawn curfew. Chicago's cherry trees in full bloom. Coronavirus metrics in Illinois continue to move in wrong direction, stressing hospital intensive care unit capacity in some regions. Chicago alderman looks to block pet stores in the city from selling puppy mill dogs. Man charged in Gary with beating woman in a wheelchair. Indian Head Park woman loses $48,000 in Amazon Prime phone scam that took a month to unfold, Sun says. Coronavirus in Illinois updates, third wave of COVID-19 continues to stress hospital intensive care unit capacity in some regions of the state, residents 16 and up outside Chicago now eligible for vaccines statewide. Rideshare driver accused of stealing nearly $10,000 from passengers' debit card and bank accounts, prosecutors say. 28 closed or temporarily closed businesses on the Magnificent Mile, block-by-block analysis of where North Michigan Avenue stands after impact of pandemic, unrest. One charged, others sought by cops in Michigan Avenue Nordstrom break-in. The following headlines are from FIS.org. When rare California toads get thirsty for love, this tiny college helps set the mood. States are growing fewer trees, forest owners say that's a problem. Spectacle of nature, a Denali glacier is speeding downhill, potentially hampering climbers and increasing flood risk. Researchers find bubbles speed up energy transfer. Bottom up is the way forward for nitrogen reduction at institutions. Researchers engineer probiotic yeast to produce beta-carotene. Common approach to diversity in higher education reflects preferences of white Americans. Plastic Planet, tracking pervasive microplastics across the globe. Scientists discover 3 liquid phases in aerosol particles. Thank you for listening and for staying informed. This audio was produced today, Tuesday, April 13th, in the GMT time zone. The next headlines are from Discover magazine. How do scientists build the best diet for astronauts? More and larger explosions rock St. Vincent as La Salle Fryer lets loose pyroclastic flows. 5 best testosterone boosters for men over 50. The next headlines are from the Seattle Times. Fox stands behind Tucker Carlson after ADL urges his firing. Explainer, how an officer uses a gun instead of a taser. Idaho lawmakers hear a pitch to absorb 3/4 of Oregon. Everton's top 4 hopes fading after 0-0 draw at Brighton. After overcoming season of COVID-19 related twists and turns, WSU volleyball eyes NCAA tournament run. Former soldiers charged in stabbing death of another soldier. The following headlines are from mercurynews.com. Scooters, e-bikes could be coming to Milpitas after council signals support. Physician, James Wiseman's injury presents opportunity for Warriors. In SoCal, drivers know the benefits of using their blinkers, roadshow. COVID, Luke Bryan tests positive, idol replacement named. Bay Area TV Sports, what to watch on Tuesday, Wednesday. Prep Football Rewind, what's at stake as sun sets on unprecedented season. Kurtenbach, Steph Curry is on a roll and he's about to go to another level. Sylvester Stallone reportedly joins Trump's Mar-a-Lago, calls grow to cancel Rocky star. NHL trade deadline, Marleau remains with Sharks as he nears house record. The next headlines are from the Washington Times. Experienced journalist named Clarion Ledger executive editor. Rising Mississippi River to close wildlife management area. Life-size elephant statue installed at U of Alabama Stadium. John King running to remain Georgia Insurance Commissioner. Man of teen who brought explosive to school charged by feds. Move Oregon's border for a greater Idaho pitches plan to Idaho lawmakers. Police, fatal shootings of toddler, teen appear related. Some Nebraska college students to get $3,000 in pandemic aid. The next headlines are from The Intercept. Biden looks to extend Trump's bolstered mandatory minimum drug sentencing. This is No Views, daily automated podcast news. You are hearing headlines for Tuesday, April 13th, 2021. Now more. The next headlines are from Eureka Alert. A tummy invader, this bacterial molecule may be key to fighting stomach cancer. Women risk gray hair to feel authentic. Scientists uncover the last meal of a Cretaceous pollinator. Cancer DNA blood tests validated by international research team. Changes in diet quality of food sources among U.S. children, adults. Weight linked to risk of second cancer after breast cancer. Drug testing approach uncovers effective combination for treating small cell lung cancer. Yukon researchers find bubbles speed up energy transfer. Study reveals cancer immunotherapy patients at most risk of life-threatening side effects. The next headlines are from the Chicago Sun-Times. Derek Chauvin did not take actions of reasonable officer, expert says. White Sox lefty Carlos Rodon scratched from scheduled start with upset stomach. COVID vaccine gender gap, more women and men getting coronavirus shots. Illinois 7-day positivity rate continues upward trend, could lead to stronger restrictions on businesses, Hive updates. White House grades state's infrastructure as it pushes bill. Silver room owner to open Bronzeville winery this summer. Police, Minnesota officer meant to draw taser, not handgun. Woman struck, killed by bus in Palos Hills. Toddler shot on Lakeshore Drive making slow but steady progress, moving extremities, doctor. The feed from the Riverfront Times St. Louis has been removed for putting advertisements in its news RSS feed. Jeffco suspect help hide body of missing St. Louis man, sheriff. St. Louis Tower Grove Pride Festival has been bumped to September. Biden White House gives Missouri C in infrastructure while pitching American jobs plan. Bull Rush and Tiny Chef team up for a brunch pop-up to benefit Planned Parenthood. Cori Bush, Sam Page want temporary eviction ban in St. Louis County. The next headlines are from Detroit Metro. Ann Arbor Council member admonished for homophobic slur on social media. UP man arrested for allegedly participating in deadly January 6th riot. Experts say mistrust of authority and misinformation is fueling COVID-19 in Michigan. Immersive dinner and drinks pop-up brings a certain galaxy far, far away to Hazel Park's frame. COVID-19 vaccine outreach expands for Michigan's homebound. You are hearing today's news headlines. These headlines are for Tuesday, April 13th, 2021. Now more. The next headlines are from the Houston Press. Houston Chronicle fires Texans reporter who likened Deshaun Watson accusers to terrorists. Rick Lee still drumming away 55 years after. Deshaun Watson legal drama, Week 5, April 12th to 16th, preview. This week in Houston food events, ringing Thai New Year with traditional eats and more. Controversial Arab murder simulator coming to consoles. The next headlines are about world records making news. Powerlifter Jacqueline Cornwell hits all-time world record squat, 258.5 kilograms at 67.5 kilograms, bar bend. Amidst craziness, Claire Curzon's 100 fly nag record was also a world junior record, Swimming World magazine. Idaho man stacks 34 bars of wet soap for Guinness World Record, UPI News. Tennessee artist breaks world record by performing at 80 venues in 24 hours, Amazon Now. A record-breaking drone display, Yahoo Sports. The week that was, Sho Masada rattles world record, Claire Curzon breaks world junior record, Swimming World magazine. Mike Bennett attempting world's longest wooden dog cutout, Coin.com. Millions gather at gangs as India's daily COVID tally hits world record, The Irish Times. Blackpink throw sets 2 Guinness World Records with debut single as solo artist, She the People. Saudi Arabia's second PV tender draws world record low bid of $0.0104 kWh, PV Magazine USA. The next headlines are from Gizmodo. Son of Stuxnet. The biggest small-toothed sawfish ever measured washed ashore in Florida. The Illuminati or whatever meets on Zoom to fight back against voter suppression. This country vaccinated nearly every adult in 2 weeks. The FCC wants you to use its speed test app to figure out where internet is bad. 27 movies to stream when you need a good cry. The last 2 giraffes have been rescued from a vanishing canyon island. Americans are already deciding where to move based on climate change. MIT researchers want to talk to spiders. A brief history of DC Comics' Black Superman. What place in the world had the hottest and coolest temperatures today? According to ElDoradoWeather.com, the hottest place on Earth in the past 24 hours was Matam in Senegal at 116.6 degrees Fahrenheit or 47 degrees Celsius. The coldest recorded weather temperature on Earth in the past 24 hours was Vostok in Antarctica at minus 95.44 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 70.8 degrees Celsius. The following headlines are from Ars Technica. Free Software Foundation and RMS issue statements on Stallman's return. It's too late for vaccines to save Michigan, CDC director explains. Microsoft acquires Nuance, makers of Dragon Speech Rec, for $16 billion. Charter must pay $19 million for tricking customers into switching internet service providers. Archaeologists find lost golden city buried under sand for 3,400 years. How long can Epic afford to throw money at the Epic Games Store? Google is killing the Google Shopping app. 6 decades after Gagarin, nostalgia, and not much else, fuels Russia in space. France bans air travel that could be done by train in under 2.5 hours. The Rolls-Royce Ghost, a magic carpet ride that costs as much as a house. The following headlines are from Raw Story. Biden's dog Major leaves White House again, to receive new training. Microsoft bets big on health with $19.7 billion purchase of Nuance. Trump appointee subpoenas think tank during investigation of salacious dossier. Syria may have used chemical weapons on town in 2018, says watchdog. Greg Abbott nominates ex-oil executive to chair Utility Commission after fatal blackouts. Coward Nikki Haley mocked for claiming she'll support Trump after saying we shouldn't have followed him. Marsha Blackburn attacks Biden as Tennessee grieves after school shooting in Knoxville. MAGA pastor, tough guy Jesus was a man unlike today's effeminate, almost homosexual Christian church. Trump admin official charged in Capitol insurrection released from jail pending trial, report. Pandemic hits critical point as Europe deaths top 1 million. The next headlines are from Mother Jones. The NCAA signals it might remove championships from states that target trans athletes. A really tragic thing, Biden reacts to Daunte Wright's death. Police in Minnesota suburb where Daunte Wright was killed rely on policies designed to protect cops. Democrats' next plan to get Biden's agenda over the finish line, fire the scorekeeper. A year later, it's still impossible to tell how many food workers are contracting COVID-19. Ocean warming is making equatorial waters uninhabitable. The following items are today's top search results for the term neural plasticity. How compassion fatigue affects lawyers and what they can do about it, Canadian Lawyer magazine. Man pistol whips employee during cell phone store robbery, Yahoo News. Astrocyte cells in the fruit fly brain are an on-off switch that controls when neurons can change and grow, The Conversation US. We are nearing the end of this broadcast. This report is for Tuesday, April 13, 2021 in the GMT time zone. What cities are in that time zone? Well, Reykjavik, Iceland, for one. You might wonder if our server is in Reykjavik. It could be. The following is from the UFO Chronicles. Did the Navy film triangular-shaped UFOs? That's it for now. Thanks for enjoying today's newsfeed headlines. This, indeed, has been a No Views, daily automated podcast newscast for Tuesday, April 13, 2021. Bookmark us and tune in each day to our free automated podcast to find out what's going on, around, and, sometimes, light years, beyond the Earth. Fair use statement. Newsiaid is a US-based educational not-for-profit news site. We use only parts of content, in transformative ways and without market usurpation. This means you are still going to want to read the original if you are interested in it beyond the headline and any comments we make. We provide links to original sources wherever possible. If you have any copyright concern, please contact us via our About page for immediate remedy. Contact us, Zeno at XENOMAILS 2021 by Newsiaid. All rights reserved. Instagram,